Switching of directional control valves means overcoming spring forces, friction, lateral forces and seating thrust. This requires solenoids with sufficient power. And to ensure safe functioning of the solenoid, the heat generated by the coil has to be limited. The solution: the solenoids used are kept as small as possible. In order to nonetheless achieve the required force for switching large directional control valves, the energy of the compressed air or hydraulic oil is used to switch the valve. This process is called pilot control. This pilot-actuated spring-return 5-stroke two-way valve demonstrates the principle clearly. A channel in the valve branches from the pressure line to a spring-loaded poppet. If the solenoid is energized, the poppet is raised and compressed air can act on the control piston of the valve, which switches against the pressure of the return spring. What is the sense in all this? It requires considerably less magnetic force to open the control channel for the compressed air than for the solenoid to switch the control piston directly against the force of the return spring. Pilot-actuated double solenoid valves are also used. In electro-pneumatics, pilot control is used to allow solenoids with minimum possible power to be switched by an electronic controller. In electro-hydraulics, only larger directional control valves are pilot actuated, and these are driven electrically via a relay or contactor. The reason? Smaller solenoids are cheaper, and the solenoid valve is cheaper overall. There are two types of pilot control. The pilot valve switches the power valve either with the aid of the normal working pressure or the hydraulic oil, or with a separate lower pressure that is supplied via a different port. The latter method results in smoother switching of the directional control valve. Solenoid valves are normally equipped with a manual override. This allows the valve to be switched not only by the control signal, but also manually. Here, a screwdriver is being used. The manual override is used during setup of the system or for testing the function of the valve. The symbol indicates how the valve is actuated. Take the 4-stroke two-way valve, for example. This is the symbol for a spring-return solenoid valve. This is a pilot-actuated solenoid valve. This shows manual override. And in the case of the double solenoid valve, the return spring is replaced by these symbols.